Okay, guys, guess who's back tonight? It is Hope to Prac, your favorite provider. All right, guys, I'm going to be talking to you all tonight about, do you know your number? That number that I'm talking about is going to be a long number, a lot of numbers, but these are numbers that is important to your health. All right, first number that we're going to discuss tonight are your blood pressure. The numbers that we look at for your blood pressure. American Heart Association says that your blood pressure ideally should be 120 over 80, not above 120 over 80, excuse me, but 120 over 80 or less. So do we have people that's going to have blood pressure that's 110 over 70 or perhaps even 100 or over 60? Yes, we will. Those are all normal numbers, because you know what? No two people are uniquely alike. Somebody may have a blood pressure that's 110 over 62. Somebody else may have a blood pressure that's 98 over 70. Are they all normal? Yes, those are normal numbers. All right, but now let's go back to the person who have the blood pressure that's 128 over 78. Is that a normal blood pressure? Yes, it is. However, once that number get to 130 over 82, now that's considered as hypertension. American Heart Association has been very, very strict as far as making sure that we start being very aggressive when it comes to African Americans and treating their high blood pressure, because African Americans are just simply predisposed, just because of the color of their skin, of having problems secondary to high blood pressure that can also cause diabetes, which can also create problems with high cholesterol and lead to stroke and heart attack. So do we have to be aggressive when it comes to black people in their blood pressure? Yes. So when you're going to your provider, and if they see that you have blood pressure that's greater than 130 over 80 on two separate occasions, they're supposed to be treating you for high blood pressure or working with you for a plan that may include DASH dieting, exercise, excuse me, as well as learning how to read labels. It's going to take a myriad of different things to get your blood pressure under control. So don't just rely on one thing. Even if you are on medication, make sure you also couple that with a DASH diet, knowing you're being able to read the labels properly, and also getting proper exercise. All right. So next thing that we're going to be talking about. Oh, and before I go forward, just so you'll remember those numbers, I got some little visual aids to help us tonight, which is something I usually don't do, but I forgot I had these for a class that I taught one time. So I just wanted you guys to see this. Look at these numbers for hypertension. Okay. So hypertension, once again, American Heart Association says that your normal values are 120 over 80. All right. Less than 90 is what I have here. It should be less than 120, less than 90. Stage 1 hypertension is considered to be systolic, which is your top number, over 130, diastolic greater than 90. This is considered stage 1 hypertension. That means that if you're under the age of 60 and you go to your physician, your provider, your practitioner, whomever, and they check your blood pressure on 2 consecutive occasions, and these numbers right here are greater, they should be treating you for hypertension. All right, this is stage 2. Systolic, the top number is 140. Diastolic is over 100. This is considered stage 2 hypertension, and then so on with stage 3. Stage 3 is considered urgent care. That means that you should be seeing someone, you should be on some medication, and it's quite possible that they're going to be sending you to the emergency room. Okay, so these are the numbers that you need to know as far as your blood pressure. Okay. All right, so let's go on to the next set of numbers that you need to know. Excuse me. The next set of numbers that you need to know are the numbers for your blood sugar. Normal blood sugar should be less than 100 when you are fasting. Okay, so 60 to 100 is normal blood sugar when you are not a diabetic. Okay, that is normal. Even if you are diabetic, those are good numbers to have. All right, now people who are not diabetic, ideally we want their blood sugar to stay less than 120. Okay, that's where we want you to be. Actually, some doctors and some providers are even more strict. They want it to be under 115. Okay, so that means that a lot of watching what you eat, a lot of dieting, a lot of exercise, and a lot of reading labels. But when your blood sugar reach greater than 200 and you're not diabetic, you need to be going to your provider, because I guarantee you probably are diabetic. So never should you, after a meal, should your sugar be greater than 200 if you're not diabetic. Okay, but excuse me, the numbers that you need to know at all time about diabetes, remember we talked about, it's like 50 to 100, 50 to 99 per se is normal. And then once you go past that, up to 140 after a meal is still considered, non-diabetic. Okay, because after you eat a meal, depending on what you eat, yes, your blood sugar is going to go up a little bit, but it should never go up past like 130s, 140s, because of the fact when it starts getting past 200, that means that you're diabetic. All right, so once again, what numbers should you remember for diabetes? Before meal, 70 to 99. Can you guys see that? 70 to 99. 2 hours after a meal, or what we call postprandial, less than 140. Okay, remember we just talked about that. After a meal, less than 140. If your blood sugar get over 200, then you need to be seeing your provider, because now that means that you have delved over into the world of diabetes. Okay, so one other thing, couple things that I want to tell you now before we go to the next slide, excuse me, is this. New information that says that 1, if you have hypertension, 2, you are overweight, you have a BMI that is greater than 40, okay, and also you have a waistline that's greater than 40 to 50 inches. That means that more than likely within the next 5 years, you're going to have type 2 diabetes. That is not my rule. That is the latest research. So those are things that you should be very mindful. If you have a BMI, which means that's your body mass index, that's over, I want to say it's like 40 something, between 35 and 40. You have hypertension, and you have a waistline that's more than 40 inches, then more than likely within the next 5 years, you're going to be diabetic. So that is very alarming. That's the reason right now, just with me saying that, that's the reason why you should be learning to read labels, watching your carb intake, making sure you get plenty of exercise, and cut back on those sugary meals, because you do not want to be a diabetic. Okay, so I'm just letting you know that's the new guidelines. I can't change it for you guys. Only thing I can do is teach you how to eat better, which in the next few months, the videos that we're going to be focusing on, especially with summertime approaching very fast, we're going to definitely be talking a lot about nutrition to make sure you get that summer body that you want. All right, last slide. One last number that I want you guys to really know is your cholesterol number, because your cholesterol is super important to your cardiovascular health. All right, we want your total cholesterol to be less than 200. But if you're diabetic, we want it even less than that, because those numbers all work together. Your high blood pressure number, your sugar level, or your diabetic number, and your cholesterol. We want your total triglycerides to be less than, pretty much between less than 100, between 200, 100 and 200 on your triglycerides. So everything has a tight control, especially the more health problems you have, the tighter the control is that we expect to have with your numbers. All right, so just so you'll be reminded, cholesterol, normal values for cholesterol. We want your HDL. HDL means your good cholesterol. That's your hypodensity cholesterol right there. We want it greater than 50, because it does what? It helps to protect your heart. We want your HDL to be higher, because it helps to protect your heart from a heart attack, okay? Your LDL, that's your bad cholesterol. We want it less than 120, guys. We don't ever want it to get higher than 120, because the higher it is, the more you are at risk for developing a heart attack, plaque in your heart, or stroke. All right. Triglycerides less than 150. Remember, I told you between 100 and 200. So that's what we want your triglycerides. Now, if you're diabetic, like I said, most of the providers, practitioners, doctors are going to want that number even less. Total cholesterol, 200 or less. So when you look at these numbers all together, this is where we're saying that we want you as far as your total cholesterol. So make sure you look at this, you see these numbers, you commit these numbers to memory, because these numbers are important. All right, so guys, you heard it from me. Make sure that at all times you know your number, not just your address, not just your cell phone number, not just your social security number, your driver's license number, but know the numbers that keep you healthy. You heard it from me, Hope DePratt. Guys, make sure you like this video, share it with everyone you know, because I'm going to always bring you the information that's going to keep you healthy, keep you sexy, keep you sassy, and keep our men looking good. All right, share this video. Make sure you subscribe to my page, Hope DePratt, and make sure you let me know what you think about this video. Peace.